Good morning. Welcome to Living from the Heart. I am your host, Tina Thrussell, woman who dances with light. I'm the co-founder of Best You Can Be and messenger of the Shin Dao, the way of the heart. Shin means heart and Dao is the way. And the way of the heart is living with love, kindness, and compassion. For yourself first. For when you have that love, kindness, and compassion for yourself, it can flow out into the world and make a beautiful impact. And today I'm absolutely delighted to have on the show a guest who does make a positive impact in the world just by being the beautiful, gentle soul that she is. I've known Shirley Hill for a few years now, and I think I may have met her at some convention somewhere when she had Lemon the Bear with her. And since then, we've gotten to know each other more intimately through Unity of Calgary. We were, I feel, very blessed to be roommates at the Unity of Canada convention, where I got to see that this is a woman who really does live from her heart. She walks her talk. We spent several days together, and you can't hide who you really are when you're roommates with someone. And I just got to know and love this woman even more in that experience. She's a fancy shawl dancer. She's a hoop dancer. She educates children about the power and beauty of dance and of our Native Aboriginal ways, Indigenous ways. And I am delighted to share her messages with the world through her this morning. But before we bring her on screen, I just want to invite you to receive a subscription to Heart and Mind Matters. This is a bi-weekly uplift. So every other Tuesday morning, we send an inspirational article, YouTube video, quote of the week, and it's intended as an uplift in your day, just to make you feel good, make you feel uplifted. And so you can receive that by entering your name and email at bestyoucanbe.ca. BEST, the letter U, CAN, the letter B.ca. You can also subscribe at our website, shindao.com, where you'll find more about the Shindao philosophy, the 4 pillars, the 12 tenets for living a more fulfilling, joyful life. And that's SHIND as in Donald, AO.com. Okay, enough of that chatter. I do hope you'll enjoy Heart and Mind Matters and take me up on that subscription. And without further ado, I am delighted to introduce to you Shirley Hill. Welcome, Shirley.
Hi, Tina. It's such a pleasure to be with you here this morning. And I just want to say thank you so much for your kind introduction. It warms my heart to hear your words, and thank you so much. I'd like to introduce myself in Blackfoot. Okiniksukwa nistunutaniko anatsubiksaki niwahtutu siksika. And the elders have taught me that in our way, when you say Niksukwa, it means friends, but that means we're family. And I told you my baby name, which is Pretty Sound Bird Woman. And when before I was born, my great grandmother had a dream, and when I came into the world, I received my baby name, and then it sets you on a path of goodness when you receive that Indian name. And I told you that I'm from Siksika. So I'd like to thank you for welcoming me on your show this morning.
Oh, it's an absolute delight. Every time I'm with you, Shirley, I'm awed by what a kind, gentle soul you are and how you really bring divine love into the world. You're a passionate woman. I know you're so passionate about your dance. Like, you started hoop dancing quite a bit later in life. I mean, I've seen little kids hoop dancing, but you didn't start hoop dancing till after you were 40, right?
No, no, after I was 50.
Oh, oh,
No, and I can say that because I've danced with many world champions, and if we were on stage together, I'd think, I can't do that. That's so intricate and fast, and I don't know how they make the animals and their storytelling. And I was invited to teach footwork, protocol, um, the wisdom of dancing. And it was an after school program, and my friend Shantika Hazel, she came in and she was the teacher for the hoop dancer. So I thought, I'll show the kids the steps and keeping in time with the drum, because part of making the animal designs and storytelling is keeping in time with the drum. And so I thought, well, I'll just try it and kind of be a role model for the kids, so that because you can do all these like the eagle and and the different animals, but you have to keep your feet moving all the time. Like that's the main thing. When there's a drum beat, you dance. So um, I would I wouldn't say I'm a professional hoop dancer. I would just like to share that it's so much fun to jump around and teach the kids that the moves that I've learned. So um, now I have, I think, about 80, 85 hoops, different sizes from preschool to adult, and like for the teenagers, because they're always taller than me. And um, they have so much fun, and I know it. I know it. And we pick songs that are fun and turning, moving, jumping. Yeah, I wouldn't go anywhere now. If I'm teaching like indigenous culture, I always do it through storytelling and dance. Because I can't picture going into a school without sharing that part of my gift, the fancy shawl dance and the hoop dancing now.
yeah.
So
It's so much a part
yeah,
of who you are. I couldn't imagine you going into a school and not teaching that as well, because it's just so obvious when we watch you dance. It's such a delight because you're enjoying it so much. It's so obvious how much
yes.
you love it as you're dancing. And the passion that you share about what the dance means
Mhm.
and all of that just speaks to how powerful it is to do what you love to do.
Yes. Yeah, and I think since February 2017, that's when became an artist with the CBE artist roster, and I was pretty busy with many different schools until COVID, and
Mhm.
then when the schools shut down, things stopped. But and in the native way, when you have information and you want to share it, it's called the moccasin telegraph. That's basically what we're doing right now is the moccasin telegraph. And people, when they, because a lot of the indigenous teachings, when you don't know who to call upon, which elders, it's word of mouth. And once people started to know who I was, what I do, then teachers, principals, they started sharing my name. So I feel very blessed to do what I do. And it's a little bit of a challenge because I do talk about residential school, Depending on what age and group the children are, I have to change my narrative, which means sharing facts about what happened. I don't want to scare any kids, but the truth has never been in the books. Especially myself, I've never learned about really what happened in residential school, even though my grandmother and mother went through that whole experience. And just to share a little bit, it has to do a lot with generational trauma. And to sum it up for me, Tina, it's all about healing your heart. Because the things that I experienced when I was little, I had such a rough teenage time because I didn't understand what my path was, and experimented with some addictions that didn't help me at all. So now I'm coming, when I turned 55, I had an initiation back home at Siksika, where I had my late mother's friends, like they danced me in on either side of me and brought me into the circle as a golden age dancer, because that's 55 for numerology is probably a good number. But then I knew that I'm shining, that I've got to this point in my life where I feel so blessed and thankful to do what I do, to teach the kids, to share my culture, and to be able to do it through dance and storytelling. So yeah. And
so I'm really curious about this. So I know you went through some really, really hard times as a youth, right? And experienced some tough stuff. And for those who don't know what you're talking about when you refer to residential school, give us just a little bit of that history and how you move out of that. How do you move out of those very unfortunate stories, those very unfortunate true stories of mistreatment, and come to this place of living positively? And
well, it's I want to say it's a government policy that was implemented by the churches, and it went horribly wrong. And it wasn't just abuse, it was neglect. And out of 120,000 children, Native children across Canada who went to residential school, 6,000 died. The numbers are between 3,000 and 6,000, either running away from the residential school, or starvation, or other things. So when my mother went, and she didn't talk about it too much, but I know she was punished for speaking Blackfoot. And one of the elders I spoke with recently, who went to school with my mother, said that they would be slapped across the face, or worse. And I'm not going to say worse, because even your imagination might go to a place that it wasn't very nice for those kids who wanted to use their language and speak their language. And because my mother grew up with my great grandparents, and they only spoke Blackfoot. So
she didn't speak any English then,
no.
Until she was, and I'm going to point this out to people, that residential school was not a choice. It was not an option.
No.
Children were pulled from their families,
yes,
and sent to live in a residential school. Were punished for not speaking English, even though they may not know English, were never taught English, and were being trained out of their Indigenous ways, and tried to be forced into the white man's community. And And so it was quite the travesty in Canadian history that this
Mhm.
happened.
Mhm.
And yet you've risen above all of that history.
Yeah, I've done healing work, like starting maybe in my 20s, a little bit at a time. The lessons have been coming to me, and I think when you know your inherent goodness, then it will come out. And I know now, um, through prosperity and the willingness to go through the challenges brings the healing. And
Mm,
every day I'm so thankful. I'm really thankful for my home, my relationships, my family, my good health. And even though um, the schools aren't in right now, I've been getting little like emails and messages that that things are going to be okay. And coming up in the next few weeks, I'm going to be dancing at the seniors home, seniors lodge. We have to dance outside because there's no contact with the usually I go and shake everyone's hand and greet
mm,
them,
of
but
course.
but we have to stay away from interaction. So yeah, there's a lot of things, Tina, that um, I would want to share with the young people, that it's going to be okay, that you can get through the tough times. And it's mostly about self-love. I,
Mm,
I, I really find that's one of the most important things. Yeah, first of all, we're human, and that we're lovable, and that I want to say creator has your back. Because it's just like, where would I be if I went a different path? And that's why I introduced myself with my baby name in the Blackfoot Way, because when I heard the elders talk about the ceremony that little babies go through when they receive their baby name, even though I wouldn't remember anything like that, I've always known. And then my great grandmother would have said those prayers for me. And coming full circle, as an older dancer, um, I I know my path, and I find that my healing purpose in life is to work with kids and bring joy. And when I think about working with the little ones, I really I miss their faces, and they've taught me so much. Like, there were times when I've been into the schools recently where I shared something about residential school, and when I ask the kids and they tell me back, I have tears in my eyes, because I know they're coming from compassion and kindness, and then they say, "Well, why would that happen?" You
mm,
know, and I don't want to say it in a way that would hurt their feelings or anything. I just talk about residential school because it's a part of history. So we've learned a lot from it, and uh, now I'm just thankful to do what I do.
mm.
Yeah, through dance.
Beautiful. And through Lemon the Bear. Do you use Lemon the Bear to tell those stories?
Oh, since you asked. Okay, so here I have a cradle board,
Oh,
and I made the cradle board. My daughter cut the design of the board, and then I put it together. You can see the mom grizzly and the baby bear cub, and then this part here is the moss bag. A long time ago, the people, Nititapi, the human beings, they would take things from Mother Earth, and there was no plastic. So you'd put the moss underneath baby's bottom, and then when it was soiled, then you take it out, put it back, compost it back to the earth, and then use the moss for let's say diapers, right? So Lemon the bear, I gave him to my grandson, and then when my grandson became a teenager, I said, can I take him to the schools? And of course he said, yeah, sure, Grandma, go ahead. And he's got his baba, and maybe he's hungry. Whoops, there he goes. Yeah, he's so adorable. And for me, when I talk about the teachings, let's say, of the cradle board, it nurtures the baby. It keeps their back nice and straight. A long time ago, the moms would carry the cradle board on their back so that they could continue working, cleaning the teepee, cutting up the buffalo meat, or what have you. So I'm just going to bring Lemon out. And he, like, as with my hoops, I would never go anywhere without Lemon. I don't know, he's an icebreaker. There he is.
There he is.
Oh, he's getting shy. Uh-oh. Peekaboo. So, quickly, for breakfast, Lemon had his donut. Oh. See? Oh. There's his donut. And then he has his cookie.
Everyone should have a squeaky cookie.
And of course he's got his brush so he can look handsome. And brush his belly too. And he's got his guitar.
Oh.
Yeah, I usually sing a little Blackfoot song when he comes out, and have the whole class or the whole school sing, and Lemon will play his guitar. He's pretty good. I'm proud of you. Yes. Yeah. And I lived up north for a little while, and so I learned how to make mittens, northern style mittens. And these actually have the fur trim, and I put the pretty little buttons on there. And he's got his little string so he doesn't lose his mittens, so he can keep warm and cozy and comfy. And this is beaver fur. So this, yeah. And I made it with thumbs, but he doesn't have any thumbs. And one time I was lucky enough to go to the Head Smash and Buffalo Jump and work with grade 4s. And that's a World Heritage Site. I was so thankful to be able to go there. So I thought, well, Lemon has to look the part. So I made him a buffalo hat. These are baking clay horns, real buffalo fur. The First Nations people, before they traded for beads, they adorned their clothing with porcupine quill work. That's the traditional way. So he's got his porcupine quill work and the little bell for spirit right there. Beautiful. So he looks very handsome. And when little kids think, oh, there's a little bear wearing a buffalo hat, he looks pretty fierce. And I tell the kids, look at his teeth. And I say, be careful. Don't put your finger near his mouth. He'll bite you. He looks cute, but he's very fierce. So I do have a Facebook page for Lemon, and I don't know, it's not only for children. I find that this little bear makes adults and elders giggle. and laugh. And that's my intention, is to bring happiness and joy to the people. And what I've learned about the little kids is that when they giggle and laugh, it switches their brain, right? Yeah. So those are the good teachings of Lemon the bear. And oh, I think he's got fleas.
Or are you waving bye-bye, Lemon?
Okay, ready? Aw, Lemon, are you blowing kisses? Okay, I'm going to put him back to bed, Tina.
So sweet, so sweet. And there's something about puppetry that it's relatable, right? You can tell the stories and they become light and fun and absorbed, though, right? The actual message comes through in a better way. And yes, of course, it works for children of all ages, because we all have a little child inside of us, right? Regardless of how old we are or how many years experience we have on the planet, there's still that little child inside that likes to giggle and laugh and have fun. So it's beautiful that you appeal to that in that way. Yeah. So time goes by so quickly. If you had a message or two that you wanted to give to our listeners and viewers, I mean, what I get from you is, well, I won't put words in your, well, yes, no, I will. I would, I won't
Go
put
ahead.
words in your mouth. But I want to say, what I get from you is this message that you need to follow your heart and love yourself, have respect for all life. Basically, you live a lot of the Shindao tenets, those principles that we have, right? Connect with the earth, let go of your busyness, treat all life as sacred, be kind to yourself. And I see that you really live those principles. So what else would you have to share with people?
Well, I think that being connected to Mother Earth is a very powerful thing for me. I've learned through my father's teachings that it's really important to show a great deal of respect wherever we go. If there's garbage, you might pick up garbage, but being connected with the land is so beautiful. The fresh air, the animals, all the animals have teachings for us, and in the Blackfoot way, we're all one. It's all connected, and you can't. If the grizzly bear was gone, then the people wouldn't be able to really survive with all the challenges of losing parts of the connections. So I'm just thinking that we need to stay connected to the animals, the trees, the air, the insects, the ones that swim in the water, the ones that fly, and being able to walk in nature brings me so much joy and peace, calmness. And what I shared about being able just to acknowledge that we're lovable, and that's part of the messages that I bring through Lemon is I am lovable, I am precious, Creator loves me more than I know, and I'm sweet and adorable, things like that just bring joy to your heart. Keep it simple, keep it light, and know that you're being taken care of, that there's a bigger purpose, and that I want to say that the spirit guides are helping you, because I know that the ancestors are always there, and I like to call them I call them my entourage. If I have something to do where I'm a little bit nervous, and then I ask the ancestors to help me, and it always works out in a good way. So it's that trust level, and knowing to show the trust through kindness and compassion. And I think you talked about that. That's your way, Tina. Oh, my phone.
Oh.
Who's calling me? I'm just going to leave it ring for now. So, yeah. So thank you for that, Tina. You've shown me great kindness, and I really, really appreciate that so much.
Well, you know, it is the way. It is the way of the heart. And I know it's the way you live. It's the way I do my best to live. And there's one aspect of your life that we haven't touched upon, and that is your artwork. So I know that, you know, even when we were at the Unity Convention, you had your sketchbook out and you were creating paintings, or
Yeah.
do you, yeah. Do you sketch them first with pencil and then paint them after?
I did, just to get the basic design and shape of the butterfly. There was a beautiful butterfly bench, and I used watercolors. And I've had that artistic flair since I was little. One of my a family member, who a lady who was close to our family, she always put my art on her fridge. And I felt so happy that someone was proud of me, and I just took it from there. I've always had a unique imagination, and then I'm able to sew and do applique work for my shawls and skirts. And I'd say I'm a slow beader, but I have a lot of nice beadwork for sure. I don't know if you can see it. I'm just going to turn my camera around, and I'm going to show you my buffalo. He's right there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's actually made from tissue paper and glue,
Oh, wow.
and it took me more than a week to do that one.
Wow.
So I was thankful that I had the time to actually sit down and do something like that, because in the school where I was at before COVID, I was teaching the kids to use the tissue paper, dip it in glue, and then put it onto the paper. And the grade 1s, 2s, and kindergartens did a wonderful job. I was like, oh, that turned out really nice. That we made a buffalo shape, and then they decorated it.
Nice.
And I'm very thankful to have a unique imagination, and I'll take on any challenge. If you'll just wait for 1 second. I have this one, Tina. Oh, I'm sorry. This one here.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see her, but she holds the light, and it's I made it from a T-shirt, and then you kind of lacquer it, and it hardens.
Wow.
And
That's amazing.
yeah, she turned out very beautiful.
Yes. Oh, I had no idea. Like, sculpture. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my great love. When I have some time, I want to start sculpting. Oh, wow. That's exciting. That's exciting. I'm going to have to call upon you for some lessons, because I would love to be able to do that. That's great. That's great. Well, holy cow, we are at time. So I want people to know that they can reach you through your website, prancingdeerarts.com. And there they're going to find your contact information.
Yeah.
What else are they going to find on that website?
Mostly pictures. I have feedback from different teachers, principals who've given me some kind words, and I put those words on my website. It's mostly of the travels where I've been to different schools and interacting with kids. I don't have any pictures of children because unless I have confirmation from their parents that it's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're just my contact information and yeah, how to get in touch with me. So I'm glad you could share that, Tina. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. And I know on your Facebook page, you'll often announce where you'll be dancing so that, you know, people want to come out for a powwow or wherever. So I'll just show that on the screen too. It's just your name, Shirley Hill. Lemon the
Mhm.
Bear even has his own Facebook
That's
page,
right.
right?
Yeah. And you know, Tina, ever since COVID happened, all the powwows in North America are canceled
Oh.
unless they're doing online dancing and competitions like the quarantine dance specials keep the people dancing.
Mhm.
That's a good one. I've done a couple contests on there, and it was fun to go out and do the video, and they give you a song, or you can sometimes choose your own song and then just go out and dance on the land and submit your video. So powwows I don't think are going to be coming back for a while until, because people gather,
Yes.
and so you want to be safe and healthy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so there's no powwows except for the quarantine dance special on Facebook. And what I noticed is that when people were posting, they were in the mountains by the river near the lakes, and they're blessing the land.
Mm.
That was my takeaway. It was like, oh, like the red rock and the desert, and even way up north they were dancing in the snow. So I've really enjoyed like watching some of those videos, even though we can't gather at a powwow or a celebration. We're still having that chance to connect, I guess, through virtual
Yeah.
connection.
That's beautiful. It's beautiful that that's being maintained. Excuse me. Well, we are certainly over time, so we're going to have
Okay.
to say ciao for now. Thank you so much for being with us, Shirley, and sharing some of your loves with us and your positive outlook on life and I look forward to when we can see you again in person.
Yes.
And in the meantime, I say to everyone, continue to live from your heart and love yourself, as Shirley says. Self love is the most important thing at this
Mhm.
stage. And so, again, as I say, ciao for now. And we'll see you all again soon on the next episode of Living from the Heart.